Hello, welcome to Dundrell's podcast. I'm host Justin. So today we're reviewing we're doing a retrospective. This is part one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. I'm not going to review all of them. I'm going to review the first four here, and then if I can find the rest, I'll review those. And that's to get ready for the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre film that's being released straight on Netflix. So you know this franchise is basically dead. If Netflix is putting if your horror franchise is being released on Netflix exclusively, you know this franchise is dead. And I just want to warn people, I am not a huge fan of these Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. I had my favorite, and in my eyes, that's the best one, and it was like what I thought was the only one worth watching for a long time until I saw some of the sequels, and then we're going to discuss them in this video. So the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre I watched back in the day was the 2003 one, and that movie we're gonna review that, but we're gonna do that for the second retrospective. And for the longest time, I was scared shitless of Leatherface and didn't even watch the sequels until I got older, and then like slasher movies kind of lost their luster to me. They just became kind of a joke, honestly. And I was more of a fan of supernatural horror films, right? And it wasn't until Cinemassacre and other horror channels where I kind of saw the appeal of slasher films. They're kind of just they're the equivalent of popcorn entertainment, like horror films, right? That you just watch with your friends and just be entertained, right? So So to start off with this review, we're going to talk about the first film, which we're going to talk about the first four Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. The first one was directed by Tobe Hooper, who I love. Tobe Hooper. He directed one of my favorite horror films, Life Force, which was put out by Canon Films, and he also did Poltergeist, right? Which a lot of people give the credit for that movie to Steven Spielberg. No, actually, Tobe Hooper directed it, people. And according to Tobe Hooper, Steven Spielberg was barely on the set. So yeah, this movie, I am not a fan of the original. I understand why people like it, but in my mind, the first one is a bit overrated, in my opinion. The cinematography is crap. It's very low budget, which they're all low budget, but some of them have really good cinematography. This one, not so much. The acting is terrible, except for the cook guy who runs the gas station, the barbecue slash gas station. Which, why would you eat convenience store food is terrible. Why would you ever eat gas station food? I don't know. Alright. So yeah, the movie, honestly, in my opinion, it's boring, it's slow. The kills are not even that graphic, but the thing about this film, the reason why so many people love it is because, one, you had the iconic Leatherface who look right, and there was no other serial killer slasher character like Leatherface, and he was one of the original really cool ones, right? And then there's the fact that this movie was one of the first gory horror films to come out, right? To the point where it was banned in London, sorry, not London, England, and it wasn't until decades where people were able to watch it. It was titled a video nasty, and people had to either go to shifty video stores to rent them, or to they had to go overseas or go to different countries to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because it was because it was so people were like turned off by the gore, which is not even that gory by today's standards. But yeah, that it's because of the notoriety of this film that's why a lot of people love it, right? Because like horror fans love the fucking like people overreacting to bullshit. Like, oh my god, like they will not shut the fuck up about the Satanic Panic, even though in recent years the Satanic Panic turned out to be true. It's just that it wasn't people Satanists weren't going after your kids to convert them. Oh my god. They were going after the elites, and then you had like satanic groups that were that were not kidnapping kids, but were raising them and like conclaves, and then like selling them overseas. It's fucked up shit. I don't want to talk about it, but yeah, yeah. So the point is the Satanic Panic was real. So like the next one, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which came out like a decade later. Sorry, 1986. This movie, in my opinion, is the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, by the way, the original I gave it's a 5 out of 10. But it's by the 70s standards, yeah, it was probably like an 8 or a 10 out of 10. But like by today's standards, it's a 5 out of 10. It's not very entertaining, but it's very boring in my opinion. So like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, it's a fantastic film. You have Bill Moseley as the iconic psycho hippie character Chop Top with his metal plate in his head, right? And you have Dennis Hopper as the crazy rogue Texas Ranger who's after Leatherface's family, the Sawyer family, for killing his niece and for killing his nephew, and his niece is supposed to be in a hospital at this point, right? And this movie is just fantastic. They raised the stakes with the cinematography. They brought in some really cool characters, right? And this film, you saw, like, obviously inspired Rob Zombie when he made House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, because like William Forsythe's character obviously was, if he didn't take direct inspiration by Dennis Hopper, the character definitely was written like it was inspired by Dennis Hopper's character, who and it's fucking crazy because like you have the two characters with like Bill Moseley is playing like cartoony like psycho character, where Dennis Hopper is playing more of a restrained psycho character. It's like the difference between Brian Cox and Anthony Hopkins like interpretations of Hannibal. They're both crazy, but they have like they have their different interpretations of the crazy shit. I love this fucking film. And it sucked that like they killed off like at the end of the movie they killed off all these characters, though they brought back Leatherface for the third one. And by the way, I saw the unrated version of like I saw the unrated version for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 originally, and recently I watched a made for TV edit that premiered on like Fox channel on 1992, and that version is just as great. That all they did was they cut out the scene where the guy wakes up and like they skin off his face. But like both versions in the movie work, right? But yeah, check out the unrated version. But like I like both. Both versions are fine. So, do I have anything else I want? I can't. If I keep talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, this is gonna be in a fucking long ass video. So it's somewhere between a 7 or an 8 out of 10. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. But I really enjoyed this movie. I love this movie. And if you were to, if there was only one Texas Chainsaw Massacre film you could watch, right? I would say give that one a shot. So the next one is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, aka Leatherface, which came out in 1990, which wasn't directed by Tobe Hooper. It was directed by Jeff Burr, who did a lot of Puppet Master movies, right? The only good thing about this film is there's like three things that are good about this film. One, you have Viggo Mortensen play one of the Leatherface's relatives as Tex. He was awesome in the movie, right? And he gives like Leatherface. The second good thing about the film is he gives Leatherface this fucking amazing looking chainsaw that people call the Excalibur chainsaw, because it looks like if you were trying to design a chainsaw to look like a magic sword, it looks fucking fantastic. And this is the this Leatherface in this movie is probably out of the first four films is probably the scariest Leatherface, but he probably has the least personality of the other ones, right? Because in the first one he was just like a kid. In the second film, he was like a horny teenager. In this film, he's just a psycho, right? But there's some funny scenes where, like, you know, he's like playing with like an electronic game where he has to. It shows a picture of a thing. He has to come up with right on the text boxes what it is, and it's like a picture of a clown, and he keeps putting food. And he keeps getting it wrong, and he just keeps putting food all over the thing. The third best thing about this film, it depends. Like Ken Foree is in the movie, right? And people love this character. I thought he was just okay, right? In my opinion, if you were to put like antagonists against the Leatherface family, it should be another crazy. I hit the mic, man. I'm sorry about that. It should be another crazy person, man. Because, in my opinion, so if I were to ever do a sequel, I would just have another crazy like cop character or rogue Texas Ranger or something like that. But yeah, him as the survivalist guy, he was fine. The main plot of the film is basically you have these. And the main plot is fucking retarded. You have these two Californian kids who are driving through Texas to transport a car that their father bought to his home in like Florida, right? And that's where they get caught up. While they're in Texas, they get caught up in the Sawyer family's bullshit of killing people and eating them, right? And yeah. The only good thing about the film is that it looked like to me that this movie inspired Jeepers Creepers, which is one of my favorite horror films out there, despite the fact that the movie was made by a homosexual pedophile, Victor Salvia. Which I didn't know that when I first watched Jeepers Creepers. I watched Jeepers Creepers on fucking cable as a kid and fucking loved the first movie. The second movie's alright. The third movie's complete trash. Stay away from it. And the new movie that comes out probably going to suck too, but who knows, right? I think it's supposed to come out this year. I don't fucking know. So yeah, this movie, in my opinion, is the cinematography got better, and there's some cool shit in the movie, but it's only worth watching if you're a fan of Viggo Mortensen, and maybe the first Jeepers Creepers, because you can tell that there was a lot of inspiration from this to that movie. So I would give it like a 6 out of 10. So the fourth film, which is Kevin Street, told me this is his favorite, right? Which Kevin Street's a subscriber of the channel, a friend of the channel, and he told me this was his favorite, which I totally forgot this movie existed. Which for years I've been meaning to watch this film. That film is the 1994 The Return of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, aka Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, which I heard people say this came out in 1997. It says here initial release on 1995, which apparently this movie was shelved, and they brought it back because two of the stars in the film, which is Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey, became big, but because the movie was shelved for an obvious reason, a lot of people hate this film because they thought it was bad. So it's like their agents tried to keep the movie from being released, which I actually really enjoyed this film. I would say out of the 4 films I reviewed for this video, this is the second best one, right? And the story for this one, it starts off at like prom night, where you have these prom characters. Well, it actually starts off with Renee Zellweger playing Jenny as this like virgin, like geeky girl teenager who's like putting on lipstick, and it has a close up on her face of her lips, and boy, I guess it was supposed to be sexy, but it was not sexy at all because you could see her peach fuzz, like her blonde mustache around the red lips as she's putting lipstick on. It was like, oh my god. Renee Zellweger, are you sure you're not part Mediterranean? You're not part Greek or something? Sorry. So yeah, she goes to the first 20 minutes is not the first 20 minutes, like the first 10 minutes or so is like these characters at prom night. Renee Zellweger's with her boyfriend or slash friend, and like you could tell this movie was shot in like 93 or 94 because boy, you get like you see a lot of grunge, Nirvana like hairstyles, like early 90s like grunge hairstyles. Very like Leon S. Kennedy like hairstyles. I love that shit, man. And what happens is that like they're hanging out and they're smoking pot in their friend's dad's car, and like the girlfriend of like Jenny is looking for her boyfriend who's fucking around behind her back. She gets pissed off and drives off in his car, steals his dad's car, which he'll tell you his dad is throughout the movie is either like a lawyer or a doctor or some shit. He's obviously rich, right? And they drive. He jumps in the car. They drive off. They get lost, right? And they get in a car accident. And they go to like this real estate agent's place, right? And who is this kind of sexy chick with fake tits, and she's the chick. She played the sexy teacher in fucking Varsity Blues. I'm pretty sure I whacked off to that scene. I didn't recognize her without the fucking glasses and the whipped cream on her fucking tits or whatever. Oh my god. And like, yeah, she calls in like a tow truck, and the tow truck is Matthew McConaughey is the tow truck driver, and on the fucking truck it says Illuminati Towing, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Is that random or that's gonna lead somewhere? It fucking leads somewhere. Holy fuck! And he's part of the Sawyer family, and then all hell breaks loose as he kills some of the kids. He kidnaps Jenny and Heather and takes them to the house, right? And they have the family dinner that's in all these fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre films, including the grandparent that looks like a corpse and it turns out it's alive. There's also a side character who's like a redneck character who quotes like philosophers and shit like that. I thought that character was cool. He randomly gets killed by Matthew McConaughey. And Matthew McConaughey is fucking awesome in this movie. He has like this motorized fucking mechanical brace that's fucking controlled by remote controllers. Remote control, like TV remotes. And he has like 3 of them. Because the batteries are shit. And like, he's fucking off the fucking cuff crazy in this fucking film. He's fucking hilarious in this movie. And it's like, holy fuck, man. Why were you so good? Because he was so fucking great in this film. And I'm like, I watched The Dark fucking Tower where he played a villain. And I was like kind of appalled just when I reviewed that movie for like why he was so shitty in that movie. Because I thought, oh, he's like so used to playing good guys, he doesn't know how to play a bad guy. Apparently, one of his first early roles, he played a fucking bad guy in this, and he fucking nailed it. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck, man? He was fucking amazing in this film, man. Way over the top. He was so fucking over dramatic, melodramatic, way over the top that even fucking this Nicolas Cage would have been like, dude, tone it down. Oh my god, man. He was fucking fantastic in this film, man. And he even gives the iconic alright line from like Dazed and Confused, which I thought he only did in that movie. Apparently he did it in this movie as well. Like, holy fuck, dude. Oh my god. And I love the relationship he had with Tony Prensky's character Darla, where he's like so batshit insane. Where he's just like, he randomly just cuts himself, and she's like trying to make him stop, and he's just screaming, like fucking cutting himself. And he's like, he's crazy, but he has this like, he has this rage to him. And it's fucking fantastic. He also plays like heavy metal and shit, while killing some of the people in the movie, right? And I love this scene. Like, spoiler, he dies, because all the really cool side characters in these Texas Chainsaw Massacre films have to die, which is such bullshit. Keep them for the sequels, assholes. But like, there's a scene where where he's chasing Jenny with Leatherface, who's in full drag in this fucking film, which he's in drag in like the first one, and I think in one scene in the second one he's in drag, but he goes full on drag in this one. This one even acts like a fucking woman, right? And like they're chasing him. They're chasing Jenny down a hill, and then there's a guy in a plane who sees the girl getting chased and just like hits like Matthew McConaughey without crashing the plane, right? And like you see like Leatherface like reaction, and it's like he screams like a girl. It's like, it was fantastic, man. Oh man, I love this fucking film. This film has like a 3 out of 10. It starts off a little slow, but to me, if you love crazy fucking like off the wall fucking films, this movie is fantastic. I'm giving it. It's not as good as the second one, but I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. I want to give it an 8 out of 10, but like, yeah, it has its problems, right? Like, the characters are kind of stupid, and there's some dumb scenes, but I really love this film, and you can tell this movie was written by the same guy who wrote like the second one. A lot of high energy like jokes, and I love the second one. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. It's gonna be fun for me to edit, and tomorrow if I have time, because I'm trying to read my I'm doing fantasy book reviews. I'm trying to read like Terry Goodkind's like Wizard's First Rule. I want to finish it by like sometime next week. So if I can get to like, page 400 or 350 tomorrow, then then I'll post a video tomorrow, which I don't want to say what it is, but it's going to be anime related. Alright, guys. Peace.